Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 13th, 2020. Fire potential impacts for the next 3 days are shown here. The main impact for today is increasing winds across the southern Great Basin and into eastern Utah as well. We do have some breezy winds over the Snake River Plain, and then also a chance for some isolated thunderstorms once again over the higher elevations of southeast Utah. On Tuesday, some breezy winds will remain mainly over the far southern and eastern portions of the Great Basin, with further isolated thunderstorms. And then on Wednesday, we lose the wind, but we may see some isolated thunderstorms move into far western Nevada. Weather for the past 24 hours is shown here. We did have some showers move into Utah, and the heaviest precipitation was in northeast Utah with over 1/2 inch reported at a couple stations there, and quite a bit of lightning over central and eastern Utah as well. Great Basin fire activity shown here really shows light IA for the past 24 hours, the larger fire down in southeast Utah, but we may see some holdovers from that lightning activity yesterday as we go throughout the day today. Precip percent of normal for the past 7 and 30 days is shown here. It's been quite a dry week, except for the precipitation we had yesterday, which is not shown on this map. And before that, still showing that dry signal for central and southern Nevada and Utah over the past 30 days. Our ERCs are still quite high for much of Utah and southern Nevada, although some of that moisture yesterday and some increased cloud cover and light precipitation has caused some of these stations to go down just a little bit from yesterday's observations, but we still have a few stations that are quite high. So closer look at a couple of these areas in northeast Utah and southwest Utah. Those values were very close to the historical record, even setting new records by just a bit, but those values came down just a little bit yesterday with some of that moisture. Live fuel moistures for a couple of sites here. Kuna in southwest Idaho is showing sagebrush live fuel moistures at just above normal for the time of year. And in northeast Utah, Diamond Station, they're between the normal and the lows. So in some of these areas further north, sagebrush is near normal for the time of year. However, elsewhere further south and west, those values are definitely below normal. This morning's satellite imagery continues to show the high pressure ridge over the southwest and south central portions of the country. We do have this trough that's moving across southern Canada that's increasing the wind speeds across the southern Great Basin today. We can see a little bit of moisture still in place over eastern Utah for more thunderstorms this afternoon, and very dry air remaining in place over western Nevada. So for this afternoon, looking at those winds, mainly over the southern Great Basin and into eastern Utah, we do have some increased breezes along the Snake River Plain here, but not quite as critical conditions as we're expecting down south. And then high risk for lightning as well, once again, with that remaining moisture in place. So the strongest wind speeds will be over central and southern Utah with gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour possible. Still gusty over the Snake River Plain, but not quite as high. And highlighted here is where we're expecting to see thunderstorms this afternoon. Maybe not quite as far north into the Uinta Basin today, but mainly over central and southeast Utah. Tomorrow, that low moves off to the north and east, and winds die down for the most part. We may still have some breezes out there, and thunderstorm activity should decrease a little bit more from today. Just some lingering moisture there over eastern Utah, maybe for some more isolated thunderstorms, but continued very dry, especially over western Nevada. So the winds will lighten up, just some lingering breezes over eastern portions of the Great Basin on Tuesday. And looking at those minimum relative humidities, still very low, not quite as low as what we were seeing earlier last week, but still near single digits in Nevada and the lower elevations of Utah. On Wednesday, continued westerly flow over the Great Basin. We'll begin to see temperatures increasing by midweek as the ridge continues to strengthen and move a little bit further towards the Great Basin. But for Wednesday, light winds and warming temperatures area-wide. So definitely lighter winds on Wednesday than Tuesday across the area, and still continuing to see a little bit of moisture hanging on over those higher elevations of central and eastern Utah. The 3-day precipitation totals shown here really just showing some continued thunderstorm activity there over the higher elevations, resulting in some very light precipitation. We do also see a little bit of moisture right there on the Sierra front, which may result in some of those isolated thunderstorms there. On Thursday, another trough sets up to move into southern Canada, which may draw some moisture back up into the Great Basin. Here we have highlighted for high risk the far southwest corner of Utah, but we'll see if we get any more moisture moving up on Thursday. By Friday, we do expect to see a further increase in moisture as some of that moisture moves up from the southwest for increased thunderstorm activity and the high risk issued for those over central and eastern Utah once again. And it looks like maybe some of that moisture hangs around into Saturday, but it looks like the thunderstorm coverage is going to be limited to eastern and southeastern Utah into Saturday. And on Sunday, we may see some of these zones across southern and eastern Utah moving from brown to yellow as the thunderstorm activity from day to day may moisten things up just a little bit. Seven-day precip totals are shown here, still just highlighting what we're expecting, where we're expecting to see those thunderstorms in the short term, and then again moving into the second half of next week, mainly over the higher elevations of southern and eastern Utah, and then a little bit there on the Sierra front. The extended forecast from the Climate Prediction Center continues to show above normal temperatures over the Great Basin and below normal chances for precipitation. So still a dry and warm pattern. And this concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.